Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Bundesliga show. Guten Morgen, auf geht's, VFB, as we are returning for another fantasy football show this morning, joined by Rune on the other end this morning. How are you, sir?
I'm good, thanks. Another great result for German football last night. It's been a good week, as we just talked about before we started recording. 3 German wins in Europe this week, so plenty of optimism heading into the return legs next week. So that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Some great performances. Had my eyes glued to it, and was a really good performance from Stuttgart last night. And I'm sure we'll talk plenty about the players and rotation options. Can already see Away Day Joe has popped in a few comments, which we'll get to you. Absolutely, thank you for putting those in, Joe, and hope you enjoy the show. Morning to you, Broody, as well. Thank you for checking in. As always, just before we get started, if you can indeed leave a like on this video, that'd be fantastic. Comment along, whether you're watching live or otherwise. We will take questions and we will answer them all where possible before that Friday night deadline. And make sure you are subbing to the channel as well. And of course, make sure you go check out Bully News, our great partners in crime on all socials and of course online for everything from a German football perspective in English, from long reads to previews, reviews, fantasy football and the rest, and lots of exclusives that Rune and the team are doing there. So go make sure you check out Bully News as well. So on with the show, and then we'll take questions as per tradition in the breaks in between. And as per, we'll start off with defenders and the 3 picks that Rune has worked to, which are on screen right now. So as per tradition, Rune, please walk us through your thinking behind your 3 picks.
Yeah, we'll do. Starting off Felix Agu as my budget pick, and it's a case of a player benefiting from a coaching change here. He knows Daniel Thune from the time together at Osnabrück. So pretty clear that Agu will see more playing time now that Werder have a new coach. And he actually, I think he did quite well against Bayern last week. He was one of their better performing players, even though his fantasy returns doesn't necessarily reflect it. I think he had a good game there. Now Werder have a few nice fixtures on the horizon, starting off with the game against St. Pauli that neither side can really afford to lose. Should be an interesting one. And then they're playing Heidenheim next. So I think now could be a good time to pick up Agu. His price is quite low, so if you're looking for a differential, I think he's a good pick this week. Same can be said about Ozan Kabak, who I already mentioned last week, actually, and he had an amazing match day. Unfortunately, I didn't pick him up myself. I couldn't fit him in with all the great options at the back, but as most of you know, he scored in addition to winning his usual share of duels. He just basically gets around 200 points from duels won alone every match day at this point, and at the same time he's a big set piece threat, goal threat up front. And also Hoffenheim have a really favorable run of fixtures now, and his price is low, so what's not to like at the moment. And then my premium pick is Maximilian Mittelstadt, who I was actually a bit in doubt about whether he would start or not until last night when I saw he was on the bench for the Celtic game. And as a fantasy football player, that's when you immediately think, great, because then you basically know that he'll start against Heidenheim. It would be really surprising to see him benched twice. And obviously playing Heidenheim is, that's a very favorable fixture for Stuttgart. Arguably the league's weakest side, and they're coming off a great win in Europe. The only downside is maybe they'll rotate a bit. Some of the other big profile players from Stuttgart will be on the bench for this one, but quite confident that Middlestead will start, and that makes him a really, really good inclusion at the back this week, I think.
Yeah, completely agree. Out of all the VFB assets that you could be most sure on, surely it's Maxi because of exactly that. What you pointed out, Rune. Be incredibly surprising if he got benched a couple of times in a row and not not too much travel involved, obviously, with bouncing off the Scotland trip, so there shouldn't be too much worry about the team being overly tired to perform against Heidenheim. They'll obviously be maybe slightly tired from that, but either way around, you'd expect them still to turn up and put in a really good performance and try and back up that excellent performance last evening. So just double checking any questions that have come in. So pick up this one first from Joe. So thank you for this one. Thoughts on Mittelstedt starting as he didn't play last night. Also El Canoes. Thank you very much. So hopefully we've covered the Mittelstedt side of things for you there, Joe. El Canoes is a slightly trickier one, I guess, and I think it ties in with what we're doing next anyway. So we'll move very purposefully into the midfielder section, and Joe, you'll be able to pick up exactly what we're talking about there, and just making sure there aren't any other questions in just yet, which is fine. We shall move on accordingly. So. Midfielders on screen for you all there, guys. And Rune, do you want to talk us through your picks again?
Yeah, sure. Budget pick in midfield is Suzuki from Freiburg. He's a player I know him quite well from his time in Denmark. He was playing for Brøndby, and he was clearly too good for the league. He had some incredible performances at times where he just kept taking players on, and his problem was that he was a bit inconsistent, and that's what we've seen at Freiburg too, I think, so far. Nevertheless, I think he has a lot of potential this week. They're playing Gladbach at home, and Gladbach are in huge trouble at the moment, just not working out for them. So I think they're one of the most out of form sides. At the same time, Freiburg are really good at home. Usually win basically every game there. So I think these factors combined with Suzuki's low price means he's a quite good differential this week with a lot of potential. And then I have El Canoes as my mid-price pick. I actually think he's been going through bit of a dip in form lately. He was also benched in the Bundesliga last time, but then he delivered a fantastic performance against Celtic last night, and looked like his usual self, I'd say. And I think after that performance, he's probably pretty much certain to earn another start. I think that would make a lot of sense to keep him in flow now that he's just produced such a good performance. And I think Undab is probably more likely to get rotated out. Could see El Canoes start behind Demirovic potentially, but I feel quite confident about El Canoes starting that game, and he should have a good chance of continuing his good form after that performance, and given Stuttgart's really favorable game away at Heidenheim. And then finally, Manu Schmidt is my premium pick. He's been a really reliable fantasy asset all season for Werder. Even in the games where they struggled, he's still done well fantasy-wise. And as we talked about earlier, they have a favorable run of fixtures now. They'll be looking to get some wins with a new coach at the helm. So I think that would be a good time to bring Schmidt in if you can find the room for him in midfield. A lot of excellent options there.
There are, yes, indeed. But he has been their shining light if they have had a shining light this season for sure, and has performed incredibly consistently. Yeah, on the El Canoes point, if we just bring up that question again from Joe on screen. So yeah, for El Canoes, had a great game last night. I do agree. I think he has had a dip. I know the Americana lads have mentioned that as well. So I think, yeah, it's such a welcome sight to see him scoring those goals last night and performing the way he did. I think he came off roughly, with 20-ish minutes to go, maybe slightly more towards the end of the game. So, obviously, Hunes at 3-1, I think it was by then, with the game more or less safely put away, but obviously trusted his substitutions to make a difference. And again, on the point of any other players like further forward, I think, El Canoes could easily operate in the 10 and Bundav have a rest. It's fairly rare that the Demirovic is kind of rotated out and rested because his engine is just ridiculous and he just goes all day. So very much see it being perhaps an Undav rest, maybe even labelling as well, and you see Furyk getting a chance from the start also. Thank you for that one, Joe. I hope that's helped out. Here's a comment from Broody. Thank you for this one. In midfield, I think Promel should be a good shout. As a bench player, has the ability to outscore next to any other player on a good day, and Hoffenheim's schedule is great. What do you think? And also his ownership is pretty low, Rune. So Grisha Promel, great shout in a strong Heidenheim, in a strong Hoffenheim team. Their schedule, as you mentioned, is really good. We noticed that on Monday night when we were talking about Hoffenheim's run towards Champions League football potentially. It is really tasty for the next 4 or 5 games. So potential for points hauling, even for someone like Promel, who can, have those games where he scores like a couple of goals out of nowhere.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely one of the best value picks in midfield at the moment. Great schedule. Just overall a great fantasy asset because of his ability to win points in different ways. So a player you could potentially hold on to for a long time if you need a budget option in midfield for sure.
Yeah, lovely stuff. Thank you for that one, Broody. Then let's go to this question as well from Joe, and then we'll move on to the forward area of the pitch. So Joe, so you're in Germany. That's great. Watching Mainz tonight and Cologne tomorrow. You lucky lad. Enjoy that. I'm sure you'll have a fabulous time. Any advice on Leverkusen players regarding rotation, please? Obviously they're in action on Wednesday evening, Rune, with a tough test and a bit of travel ensued with that. So what do we think about Leverkusen players being rotated, the likes of Paddy Schick and co?
I think there will be a lot of rotation. Leverkusen, Kasper Hjulmand basically confirmed that after the win over Olympiacos. That's an unfortunate situation for a fantasy player, especially because we don't know who will be rested. But I mean, with some players, you're fairly certain they'll start. I think Tillman, if he doesn't start this one, that would really surprise me because Leverkusen fielded the same starting 11 twice in a row when he wasn't in that. So he's definitely one of the players that I could see coming into the starting lineup. The same with Arthur, who's also just been benched twice at the right wing back position. Martin Thierry could get a run out. I think Schick will probably get a rest and Kofane come in up front.
Agreed. Yeah.
So I think for many fantasy players, the likes of Garcia and Grimaldo will probably be the big concerns. And it's really difficult to say if they'll get a break. Obviously, they're two of the most important players for the way Leverkusen want to play. Really important for set pieces and passing play, especially. With Grimaldo, there was a situation before Christmas where he was just rested all the time because they overplayed him. and they said at the time that they wanted to avoid a similar situation with Grimaldo. So the question is now the time to rotate him out? We don't know, and I'm not saying he'll get a rest, but personally, I'm a bit concerned about that and whether that could happen. I mean, there's not like an obvious replacement for him, which speaks for him, getting another start. But then again, the words uttered by Rolfes and Hjulmand at the end of last year about being careful with him and not like necessarily starting him every time. I can still hear those words in my head when I'm thinking ahead to the weekend. So yeah, an interesting one with Garcia. I think he's just too important at the moment to be taken out. It's a bit like how it used to be with Granit Xhaka. But we can know for sure. Check out Hjulmand's comments. He was pretty, he stated it pretty obviously that changes will be needed because it's simply not possible for the players to play every minute with the hectic schedule they have at the moment.
Precisely that, and I think the Grimaldo situation is very tricky because, like you say, they've had to be careful with him. We've seen the risk versus reward of overplaying him, and they've learned from that. Does it give them a good excuse to give him a rest? Quite possibly. But also Leverkusen, they've got the game in hand in terms of the race for European football, but they can ill afford to just drop a game. The way to Union Berlin is far from easy, and they'll know that their competitors will be going for it. That they know that Dortmund Leipzig opens up an opportunity for someone to drop points. So it's an opportunity for them this weekend as well if they win to catch up. So be really interesting to see what happens. FPL Swan's also asking about Leverkusen rotation. So hopefully we've answered the question there for you. So you've asked another one, which we will get to. We'll just go through our strikers first, and then we'll come to that one for you straight away. Do make sure you get your questions in as well, and we'll go through all of them right at the end and make sure we get through those. So strikers picks are now on screen for you all, and Rune, back to yourself then for description and theory on those.
Yeah, thanks. Budget pick is Matanovic from Freiburg. Another great budget option from Julian Schuster's side. Looks set to play up front against Gladbach, and I think at the price he's just a really good budget enabler this week. So maybe if you're going 4-4-2, he's a player you could keep on the bench with a lot of potential. A mid-price pick is Amedin Demirovic. I personally think that Elkanus will start behind Demirovic this week because Undav has just played every minute for some time now. He also did that last night, whereas Demirovic was taking off just a bit earlier, and Elkanus, same with him, as you mentioned, Rory. Could be worth a shot. Demirovic, his ownership is down to 1%, and his price is low too. Obviously he has a lot of potential against Heidenheim this week. And then just another differential pick, Mohamed Amoura from Wolfsburg. His fantasy returns have been quite amazing, despite the fact that Wolfsburg have struggled a lot. He's probably the biggest difference maker up front. He has scored over 200 points in 4 games in a row now, and now they're playing Augsburg at home, and that's a game that Wolfsburg should really target a win in order to try to get away from the relegation race. If they don't win this one, they could easily get sucked into that. I think Augsburg were, just underwhelming against Heidenheim last week. I know they got the win, but the way they approached the game, not a lot of chances. They were just trying to, hit the bottom place team on the counter. That's probably what they do best, and that's what they're probably trying to do against Wolfsburg as well. So they're they're actually quite solid defensively, but yeah, not super entertaining. So I think it should be a game that Wolfsburg should be targeting a win in, and Amura will definitely be key for them if they're going to get that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, again, on Monday, Mark was agreeing with you there, Rune, in terms of Augsburg's workmanlike performance. We describe it as doing an Augsburg in the sense of getting that 1-0 win just by any way physically possible, which they did. And I think, yeah, they if they play like that again, Wolfsburg should well target that and be feeling slightly better about themselves with that positive 2-2 draw with Leipzig last time out, and very close to winning the game, weren't they? So yeah, question here from FPL Swans. Thank you for this one, pal. With Diamande consistently scoring well, do we think he is still to do well versus Dortmund? Trying to decide whether to go 4-3-3 or 4-4-2, Rune. Yeah, big game this weekend, testing the credentials of Leipzig and their consistency. Diamande has been a consistent player in their ranks, but others have dropped off. So what do we feel about his security in being able to perform against a Dortmund team who just keep on winning, don't they?
Yeah, they do. But I'm pretty confident about Diamande. Just seems to be doing well against any opponent at the moment. Even against Bayern, he had a great game. So pretty confident, especially given the fact that Dortmund have all these injuries at the back. They're playing a 3-man back line with Rejani and Bensebaini. Yeah, I know they got a great result against Atalanta with that back line, but at the same time, they're playing away against the Leipzig team that they can play some excellent football. As they proved against Bayern, the game they lost 5-1. They were all over Bayern in the first half. Deserved to be more than one goal up there.
Yeah,
have some excellent attacking players. It's not just Diamande, Goda as well, Nusa, these kinds of players. So I'm actually, I could see Leipzig win that game, given that Dortmund have all these injuries and they're also focusing on Europe. Leipzig really need the win too. To stay in the top 4 race. So yeah, I feel quite confident about Diamande to sum up.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that one very much, FPL Swans. So I think that's it in terms of questions that people have asked. Skimming through socials, I don't think I missed anything this morning in terms of questions being asked, which I haven't. So that is us for this morning. So slightly more condensed and shorter show, but that's absolutely fine. Thank you all for tuning in and watching with us. Obviously, good luck to all you fantasy players this weekend. So we will just close up the show by saying, please do make sure that you indeed like this video. And yeah, especially if you've not been able to watch us live this morning, do comment your questions and thoughts, especially around those rotation risks. We will try and answer them throughout the day and make sure that you are as best informed as possible ahead of that Friday night transfer deadline. And do make sure, of course, that you subscribe to the channel, and you can find us all on social media, across all socials, X, Insta, and the like, at the Bundesliga show. And of course, Bully News are all over socials as well, and will be doing their usual excellent fantasy pieces, which I believe I've already seen a few of them out. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Rune. Good luck this weekend. We will see you on Monday again to review it all. Cheers, guys. See you in the next one.
Bye.